How you doing, everybody? It's Wednesday the 3rd of February 2010 and it's just after lunchtime. Yep. And I just want to do a couple of things on economics, and I know economics, it's boring to talk as a subject, so I'll try. I won't delay anybody. Okay, I just want to deal with there are two European matters really, but they're related to us. You know, these smart arse economists that we have, everything's in the little anachronisms and little everything's all sweet talk, you know. And Ireland's part of the pigs. We're part of the pigs in Europe, the PIGS, and the PIGS is Portugal, Ireland, Greece and Spain. And we have the worst performing economies in Europe, and we fit into that little group. Okay, and this little blog that I'm going to do now, this little posting, is basically about it's about Greece and about Spain, and it doesn't make for pleasant reading. And the reason it's important to us is because, as I say, we do fit into that. When a country tries to raise money, it essentially can only raise money in two ways. It can only raise money from taxation that it gets from its people. So I suppose it's three ways really. It can raise money by going to one of the big, like the European Central Bank or the FED in America, if it was in America. And finally it can issue bonds, and private people buy the bonds. We can't print the money. We're not in the way of printing money. People would like to think we sold that sovereignty away. We used to print our own money, we can't do it anymore. If we want to print our own money now, we've got to leave Europe and go back to Irish punts or whatever we want to call them. But at the moment we can't do that. European Central Bank controls our finances. Apart from that, apart from what we can draw down in taxes from the Irish populace, and obviously corporation tax, all the various taxes, not just individual income tax, all the various taxes, corporation tax and capital gains tax and all those sort of various taxes. What we can borrow from the European Central Bank, like we're doing this year, 54 billion for NAMA, and finally what we can get from the bond markets. And the reason all this is important is because what's happened at the moment, because of the big huge economic downturn, all these states, in particular these four states, have a major problem with their budget deficit. And normally the budget deficit would be a tiny amount of GDP, and in the case of these four countries, Portugal, Ireland, Greece and Spain, it's a large amount. It's well over 10%. In the case of Ireland it's nearly 12%, and in the case of Greece it's over 13%. Okay, so I want to deal with the Greece thing first of all. Their budget was 13%, their budget deficit was 13% of their GDP last year, and they're the worst performing country. They're just ahead of Ireland and we're just behind them. Okay, and in order to raise money on the bond markets, which is one of the main ways of doing it, they have to pay for their 2-year bonds 4.23% for them. Okay, they have to give that back every year for the person that buys the bonds. And the 10-year bond, which is really the key bond, because governments don't like buying or selling 2-year bonds, you know what I mean, it's just, it doesn't give them enough breathing space. They prefer to sell the 10-year bond, okay, because they can have 10 years to deal with the problem, as it were. Okay, that costs them costs Greece 6.2%, costs Ireland just less than 5%. Alright, the German bondholders, they get 3.25% from the German state. So I'll give you an idea of the spread. So the Germans 3.25, it costs them, costs the Greeks 6.2%. Okay, and it costs Ireland just less than 5. It's around 4.97, 4.94. Okay, and the Greeks intend to sell 53 billion euros of bonds within the first 6 months of this year. Now they've also started on an austerity program, and they're going to raise immediately a fuel charge, and they hope to raise €1 billion out of that, 1 billion, and then they're going to have an immediate 4% reduction in the public sector wages. I don't know how much that's going to get them. It didn't say any article. Put the links up to these two articles, by the way, here. They're from the Financial Times, the two articles. And the final thing the Greeks are going to do is they're going to have a massive reduction in public sector size. In other words, they're going to fire thousands of people, and they've said that they're going to fire up to 10,000 people out of the public service. So that'll be out of full state and semi-state bodies in Spain and Greece gone. So you can look out for a summer of discontent in Athens, you know yourself. Okay. Next thing is Spain. Another article out of the Financial Times, and the twist on it is the number of unemployed people. It's fucking unbelievable stuff. It's a bit like Ireland. At least they're being honest about it. Tells you their budget deficit at the moment is 11.4%. Just same sort of size as Ireland's. Okay, and they've set out an austerity plan to reduce it down to 3% by 2013. Didn't tell you, didn't go into the details. If you read the article, maybe it does, but it's a lengthy article. Okay. Now, it says that their jobless figure is, they admit to it being just over 4 million people. Okay. Now, there's 23 million of a workforce, and the trade unions in Spain say that it's not just over 4 million, it's 4.5 million. So out of a workforce of 23 million, that is 19.6, almost 20%. So you're not talking about a recession, you're talking about a depression. That's what you're talking about. So I'd love to know how they're going to get an austerity plan to work off those figures. It'd be very interesting to see that. So those are the two articles. Have we look at them. They make for very interesting reading and for a very hot summer for both Greece and Spain. That's all. Okay, we talk later. Bye.